Good morning and welcome to Cup Chat with Birding with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. For those of you who are new on our Facebook and have never met us, maybe we should introduce ourselves because it has been weeks since we have done a Cup Chat. We've actually been horrible Cup Chatters. And so I'm Emily Grant. I'm the Ag and Natural Resource Agent in Val Verde County. And Dr. Frank, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Dr. Maureen Frank. I'm an assistant professor and extension wildlife specialist based out of Uvalde, but covering pretty much the southwestern half of the state. Normally Cup Chat is on a Wednesday, but tomorrow Emily and I will be together. So it's almost like we could have done a Cup Chat together.
Maybe we'll do two. We'll see how sparky we feel.
We do. We'll be in College Station. It's all the new employee training next week. And this week, and we were asked to give a talk, so that's exciting. And yeah, I don't know, that's it. We call it Cup Chat because we like to have our cups of coffee or tea. In my case, Emily usually has coffee. I
do have coffee with Starbucks caramel macchiato creamer. I'm so proud of myself that I've been keeping my creamer in my fridge. So.
And I have honey in mine, which is a treat because normally I drink my tea black, but I had a cold and so my voice is still recovering, so it's got honey today. So
okay, here's my question, and this is a little bit off.
Does it have to do with birds?
No, nothing about birds. People put creamer in their, like they put milk in their tea.
Yes, it depends. Yes.
And that seems very odd to me.
For me, it depends on what kind of tea it is. But yeah, if it's black tea, I will put cream in it because it's yummy. I don't know what to say.
Really? See, and all I can picture is like my glass of iced tea because I like a good big glass of tea, iced tea. And to pour milk in that just sounds very odd.
And different when it's hot, though.
I see.
Different story, because I would not pour milk into my iced tea, but in hot tea, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna still go with that slightly strange. It's still mental block for me there. So anyways, this morning we are going to be talking about new birders and some of our program that is geared toward beginner birders learn to bird. And so let's start with like when it is.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, learn to bird. I do. Well, I have my calendar right here so that I can share the dates and not mess them up. It is in October. Learn to Bird is in October, and last year we had enough interest that this year we are doing 2 of them. And so from October 8th through 10th, is Learn to Bird West, and we'll be in Val Verde County, a ranch that we've worked with before. The McKenna Ranch is a fabulous place to be with lodging on site, because if you've been to Val Verde County or if you know about Val Verde County, northern Val Verde County, Texas. Yes, is very remote. So you're not just gonna pop back down to Del Rio and get a hotel. No, we've got lodging out there for you to stay with us so that you can wake up to birds in the morning and go to sleep to birds at night. Actually, I just talked to Ms. Mueller's daughter, was over here last weekend, and they found the owl. They've seen their owl still regularly. So the owl, the little western screech owl out there, is a treat, and there's 2 of them. They've seen the male and the female now.
Oh wow!
So that's a fun highlight at the McKenna Ranch for sure.
So, and then we are going to go to Learn to Bird East, which I still don't know that that's the best description of where it is in the state, but it's okay. Maureen thinks it's in East Texas. It's not. Hey, if y'all are joining us, comment and tell us that you're watching this morning and where you're joining us from. We see we have a few viewers out there, so we'd love to hear who's joining us. So, Learn to Bird East
is October 13th through 15th, so right after Learn to Bird West, and it will be at the Long Acres Ranch, which is a Texas A&M property that is located just outside of Richmond, Texas. I always have to say that carefully because there's Richmond and there's Richardson. Richardson is in Dallas. We're talking about Richmond, which is outside of Houston, which everybody who's from
technically
Houston,
not East Texas.
Technically not East Texas. So other fun thing for those of y'all who are maybe new viewers, I'm not originally from Texas. And so I made the mistake one day of calling Houston East Texas, which it is not East Texas. If you do, Nacogdoches is East Texas. If you want to go to East Texas with me, different advertisement for a non-birding program. I'll be in Nacogdoches at the end of September. But
Nacogdoches.
Yes. Nacogdoches. Yeah. What did I just say?
I don't know, not Nacogdoches.
Okay, Nacogdoches. My voice is a little bit off still, but yes. So we'll be Learn to Bird East, simply referring to the fact that we'll be east of I-35. We'll be outside of Houston at the second part of that week of October.
So let's talk a little bit about what birders or what you can expect for Learn to Bird. Now, let's talk about like what level of birder our target birder is for Learn to Bird, because we don't want you to come and say, well, I am at this level and you're talking about all this stuff and I already know it. We don't want you to come if this is going to be lower level than what you think you are. So let's talk about what level birder Learn to Bird is designed for, Maureen.
Yes, Learn to Bird is very much just like the name says, completely learning to bird. Anywhere from, I can identify a few birds in my backyard, like, most people know what cardinals are. There's a few things that come in that I know. I know this is a pair of binoculars, but that's all I have got. And so we'll start from the very, very basics with using binoculars, all the very basics of bird identification, even if you don't know what a cardinal is. And, I mentioned most people do, but you're like, I can't tell a cardinal from any other red bird that might be out there. Perfect. Learn to Bird is for you. We definitely don't exclude anyone who's, at a higher level. If you want to come and brush up on the basics, you're welcome to. But yeah, we will focus on, basics of binoculars, very basics of birds and bird groups and how you work on those identification pieces. Brand new and beginning birders. We did last year. We had somebody who came and actually, had some pretty good experience where she was at, but still the part of the state we were in, had a lot of new things to see. And that's the other thing I would say is
are we shouting out to Stephanie here?
We are shouting out to Stephanie, yes, because she's
watching this morning.
She had some really good experience when she came to us, but I know that she still shared with us that she learned a lot. And so just when you feel, and I think the thing for her was she felt very self-taught. And Stephanie, you can correct us in the comments if we're wrong, but I remember that you said you had kind of just taught yourself going through birding and you wanted to have that system of like identifying birds. And that's something that we teach and that our awesome guide, Brian, teaches. So
we do. We talk about making a case for bird identification and let you put on your little detective hat. And so that's one of my favorite. I'm going to take credit for that because I do think that was my idea.
It was your idea, and we've refined it this year. We've actually refined our making the case.
Yes, and it's going to be super. One of the, and then you mentioned about just being from a different part of the state. So if you are very comfortable with birds and you are interested in birds in your area, maybe this is something because you've never traveled on a birding trip. You've never gone somewhere where birds were new or wanted or gone out with a professional guide. Maybe this is the first baby step of going out and traveling for birding as well, and pick the different side of the state than you're on so that you really get that different experience with new birds and how to learn those new birds in kind of a quick way. It can also be I've never traveled for birding. I love to bird locally, but I would know none of the birds on the western part of the state. I'm going to go over there and learn how to bird new birds quickly, bird with the guide and things like that. So
yeah, and that's something I was going to say is we did create the Learn to Bird West and Learn to Bird East so that you could get there more easily last year. But of course, that doesn't cover the whole state, right? So Stephanie came to us all the way from far South Texas, from Brownsville. We had a couple come to us from Wichita Falls. So each of them drove, 7 hours to get to Val Verde County last year. But so we wanted to do the Learn to Bird East also so that if you are in the Houston area, it makes it really easy to get there. But obviously, there may be some people that this is just the first time that you're traveling, or maybe last year you went to, Learn to Bird West, and now you want to come with us to Learn to Bird East. I will also mention, so like we just said, the Learn to Bird West will be on a private ranch, staying out there in lodging that's on site. It's very remote. You will have limited to no cell service when you're out there. Let's go with none.
Zero cell phone service. And everyone arriving should arrive in the daylight. It's going to be a rule.
Yes. Yeah. But for Learn to Bird East, if that sounds a little extreme for you, Learn to Bird East will be, like I mentioned, it's just outside Richmond. Long Acres Ranch is really awesome, and that
there will
you
be a
get
Starbucks
there,
nearby.
Right. You get there and you feel like you're out in the middle of the country, but there's restaurants and things just 5 to 10 minutes away. So there, that lodging will be, you'll be getting, if you live nearby, or you can get a hotel because there's options within 10 to 15 minutes. So that's also just to explain a little bit the difference between Learn to Bird West, Learn to Bird East. We wanted people to have options close to them, but there's also a little bit of difference just in how that will, what the feel of the event will be. So both will have amazing food because Emily's in charge of food. So
I always take care of us and make sure we eat well. Now, one thing to think about is registration will go up on Monday, and all the information will be online for our Learn to Bird website. It will be completely updated on Monday. And one thing to think about, where was I going here? I had a good thought. Dang it. I don't remember.
Okay.
Sorry. I had a thought.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, yeah, so registration on Monday. One thing to think about maybe is that we cap how many people we take. Is that what you were going to say?
Well, maybe, probably not. We do cap the number of participants it'll be different at both sites, but that's going to be limited to under 16 at both sites. So make sure that if you want to attend one of those, that you get on registration fast. For our master naturalist out there, it will we do put out a advanced training request form. So we believe that there are plenty of hours out there for you to request advanced training from your master naturalist chapter. And we do that in a very quick and easy to print form for you just to hand over to your chapter to approve. What's some of the I had a good thought. Do you have a special guest with you?
I thought I was going to, and I left him in the toddler's room, and she's still sleeping, so I'm not going to disturb that situation. The special guest is a little stuffed bird that I have for our binoculars practice, but yeah, I don't have him. I forgot to get him out last night, so. We'll have 2 special guests for the actual program, because we have one that we acquired when we were out scouting with Bill Sane when we were getting ready for Birding the Border. And then we have another one that my wonderful support staff, Terry, gave to me. So we'll bring out the special guests another time. Sorry.
So we do have, Learn to Bird is led in part by us, but also a professional guide, Brian Koch. And so Brian couldn't jump on this morning to kind of share, but if you don't know Brian, you should, and go back and watch some of our other cup chats he's on. And what the great thing about it, Brian, is he has really a heart for education and really taking and making a great experience for you depending upon what your goals are. So that's one of my favorite things about Brian is I typically bird with a guide because I usually go out with Brian. And so there's times where I'm very inquisitive about very certain things. And if I ask those questions, but kind of before we go out, Brian is very great to always take care of answering those questions and really hunting the answer. You know, we talked, I guess we were looking at the Audubon's warbler versus the
Oriole, Audubon's Oriole.
So the yellow warbler that they've split. Help me here.
Oh, the yellow-rumped warbler and myrtles versus Audubons.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, we really spent some time. There was a large patch of both of those one day at the Devil's River State Natural Area, and we really spent a lot of time to hone my identification of the differences of those 2 subspecies. And so that's one of those great things about Brian is he has that heart for education and really wants you to accomplish and learn what you want to learn. And he'll share his tidbits along the way, but he's very attentive to trying to help you meet your birding goals. So that's one of the great things about going out with Brian, I feel like, and why we choose him as such a great guide for this program.
And you just reminded me of something else really important we should share about these programs is that while Learn to Bird West is hosted on the McKenna Ranch, for both of these trips, we start in our one little area and get lots of practice there. And then we go on a field trip. And so Learn to Bird West, we will go to Devil's River State Natural Area, which is an incredible place. If you've never been there, look it up, and it's amazing. When we go there for Birding the Border, we always try to get to Dolan Falls, and I don't know whether we'll be able to get there for sure for Learn to Bird. It will be October and probably too cold to go swimming. So
I've done it in December though.
Okay, sure. But you waited. You didn't jump all the way in.
Oh, no, I did not jump all the way in.
That's what I meant.
I jumped in on the summer months.
Yes. But it is one of the most beautiful places in the state. And it's somewhere you don't always get to go. If we do get to go to Dolan Falls, even just going to Devil's River State Natural Area is very remote, very beautiful. We had last year, even though it was windy and cold, we found so many species of birds there that it was just incredible for the conditions. So it's a really incredible place. For Learn to Bird East, again, we'll be at Long Acres Ranch, and then we're going to go down to Brazos Bend State Park, which is a really well-known birding place that should have a lot of water birds. So that'll be really fun. And that we'll have a chance to see, we'll get some scopes, and we'll get a chance to look at some big, easy to see birds and practice those identifications on those. So,
well, and I think I'm so excited. We also will we still get to see the alligators?
That's what I was going to see if you were going to mention the alligators, because that's the other exciting part. And I mean, as long as if it's a warm day with some sunshine, they should be out. So
go check out my favorite picture, I think, of us I think my favorite picture of me on the Birding with Extension page is the one I'm jumping at
yes. Yeah. So, and that was before you realized there was an alligator down the trail? Or did you know that it was down the trail at that point? I wasn't there, unfortunately, on that particular excursion.
I think I didn't know that the alligator was there. So we were walking and we were trying to find the warbler that I will not say on national television. We were trying to find the warbler for me. And we're walking, we're looking at the bird. And then we look over and he's like laying on the side of the trail, not 10 feet from us. And then there's this other guy and he's walking towards it and he's looking at us. I don't think he sees the alligator at all. And so I'm like, Brian, should we say something? Should we say something? Oh, he'll see it. He'll see it. Should we say something? Should we say something? And oh my goodness, he barely saw it and then walked around very carefully. But gosh, they're not very scared of anybody.
Yeah. So when we go to Brazos Bend State Park, you'll want to look up for birds, including the prothonotary warbler, is what I was talking about. Watch down for alligators. But that was.
Will the warbler be there this fall?
No, probably not. I mean, they could be migrating through. Spring is a good time to see them, but they will. Look up for birds, look down for alligators. But we were there at the beginning of May. It was nice and warm, good for basking alligators. Middle of October could go either way. If it's a little chillier, they probably won't be out. If they are out, they'll be moving slower. But I think watch for alligators. That's a fun bonus. But Brian and I are also both herpers. We like to find reptiles and amphibians as well. So that's kind of an added bonus on these trips.
I want to take a selfie with an alligator, and we took several, but I am not in the mood to get near any reptiles like you and Brian do. So, but really quick, we want to say good morning to Miss Ellen and good morning to Mary Pearl. They're both joining us. Ellen, all the way from Pennsylvania this morning. She is a Birding with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension fan, and we are pleased to have her join us for some of our programs. So, hi, Miss Ellen. Glad you could join us this morning. So let's talk a little bit about.
Well, hey, if Mary Pearl's on, the other thing we need to mention, because we just did a shout out for our Master Naturalists, is we did plan this to not conflict with the Master Naturalist Conference. So if you want to, hop around the state, you can come to hang out with us and get some advanced training. And then you can go see Mary Pearl. And we will also be up in the Irvine. I think it's in
wherever it is. Irvine.
Sorry, Mary Pearl, I'm failing right now. But for the Texas Master Naturalist Conference, I'm sure all the Master Naturalists know exactly where it is. I think it's in Irvine. And we'll be up there in the 2 weekends after? Yeah, yes, for the Texas Master Naturalist Conference.
The other piece of that is, so at the Master Naturalist Conference, we will be leading I don't know if, is this official? Can we say this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Just making sure. Didn't want to.
Mary Pearl will yell at us if not, but no, it's up. The registration's open for the Texas Master Naturalist.
So we will be, with our Birding with Extension team, we will be facilitating a morning bird walk at Texas Master Naturalist Convention. And then we'll also be, Maureen, you're doing several presentations, but we will be doing a thank you, Mary Pearl, for sending the link. We appreciate that.
Yay.
And we will be doing our Making a Case for Bird Identification presentation there at the Master Naturalist Conference, any Master Naturalists who are interested. Now, I do have a question, Mary Pearl, and hopefully, or Maureen, whoever can answer this. Can you go to Texas Master Naturalist Convention if you are technically not a Texas Master Naturalist?
Oh, you can. Mary Pearl can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that anybody's welcome to attend the conference. And hopefully, if you're not a Master Naturalist, then you're like, hey, this is awesome. I should be a Master Naturalist.
Yes, and Mary Pearl, gosh, we should have had her on today. She's just on the spot with these comments. Everyone can come, Texas Master Naturalist, and those that want to join to learn alongside us, there is a hybrid option too. So if you are not technically a Texas Master Naturalist, but are interested in being a Texas Master Naturalist or want to see what it's all about, the convention is an awesome way to kind of get started. Master Naturalists are the friendliest people out there. And so you will feel a warm welcome and have plenty of friends. So check out that link that Mary Pearl put in the comments. We're thrilled to have you on this morning, Mary Pearl, to talk about the Texas Master Naturalist Convention.
And I will say too that we just mentioned like our Making the Case, presentation that we're going to give. So if you're kind of curious as to how that might go, maybe you're not ready to come to Learn to Bird yet, but you want to check it out at the, Master Naturalist Conference. The other thing though, too, for the Master Naturalist Conference, we designed it so that it can be something that you can learn if you're a new birder, or maybe you're an experienced birder, but you want to learn this particular technique that like this Making the Case concept that Emily and I came up with. Emily gets most of the credit.
I feel like I've grown so much. I get the credit for making a bird presentation.
Yes, you do. But because Master Naturalists are often teaching others, if you want to just learn this as a method of teaching others, then even if you're an experienced birder, it's also a good fit for you. So that's an advertisement for our Master Naturalist talk.
I think that making a case is so different necessarily. And if you're a self-taught birder, here's where I would say what I love about making the case is, especially as a newer birder, is that it really points out all of those things about bird identification that makes it where you can easily identify in multiple different scenarios. Brian has this great way. Well, it kind of is acting like this. We can't really see it. Maybe Brian can hear it and identify it, but we can't really get a good look at this bird, but it's doing its thing, or it's in this part of the tree, or maybe he's looking for a very particular bird. And understanding the habitat and their behavior as we make those cases can also benefit you in terms of where to go find a specific bird. So maybe we're hunting a specific warbler, or, well, that's not a good example.
Well, like when we go look for the Western screech owl at the McKenna.
Well, I think my warbler will work. I mean, a warbler versus a painted bunting, they have very different behavior type things and where they like to hang out and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so you definitely can have, I think making a case can even take that more knowledgeable birder on basic bird ID and give them some more context clues as they work through their identification process.
Yes, I agree. Yep. And I am currently, when you said warbler again, it reminded me that I was going to look up the eBird for Brazos Bend State Park and see if prothonotary warblers have been seen there in October. And they not a very good chance.
Small one, but not
definitely
really.
Definitely at the end. So not so much, but lots of other things to see, I think, because total the eBird checklist for Brazos Bend State Park has 303 species. So that, of course, is for all parts of the year, but I'm going to do this real quick and make sure I get this number right. So for those of y'all who are new birders, but also want to, be able to see a whole bunch of species, just for October, there have been 208 species documented at Brazos Bend State Park. So don't worry, we're not going to make you learn them all. But there is an incredible number of species that you can get at Learn to Bird East.
Well, that'll be interesting and super fun. And when we had Learn to Bird West, we saw several rarities.
We did actually, yeah. With that the day that we were at Devil's River State Natural Area, we had a bunch of rarities.
So it'll be either way. Both programs will be great. Also, Texas Master Naturalist Conference. If you are interested in joining us for that, check out that link that Mary Pearl has put in the comments. For those of you who do not know, Mary Pearl is what would be her official title. She helps run the Master Naturalist program for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. So she is a authority on the circumstance. We just didn't have her copied in the email to join on the Zoom link today that we should have.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, she is the coordinator. So it's a partnership between Texas Parks and Wildlife and AgriLife Extension, and she is the project coordinator for AgriLife Extension side of things. So program coordinator.
She's the boss lady. So she knows what she's talking about. She's not some random person on Facebook commenting.
Yes.
So anyways, authority. She laughed. So anyways, thank y'all all for joining us this morning. We we'll let everyone know when Learn to Bird stuff is up on Texas on the website. And registration is live. That will be goal is it will be up by Monday. If it's open up a little bit sooner, we will let y'all know. But we'll have all that ready and going by Monday so y'all can get registered and get excited to learn to bird. So thank y'all everyone for joining us this morning, and we hope you have a great Tuesday. It's a little bit longer of a week, and we'll be back next Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
We will get back to regular schedule. Summertime is over.
And I think we'll have a guest. So fingers crossed. But I think we're going to have a super cool guest too.
Well, you are always not the stuffed bird. That's in the
No, not the stuffed bird. A real human guest who knows a lot about birds.
Well, we can't wait for that. And so everyone have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will be back at our regular scheduled programming time at 7:30 on Wednesday mornings. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.